So welcome to our presentation on our magazine, Thrive, where we'll be first presenting our spring edition of Thrive magazine, specializing in Gujarati cuisine. So, this is our team. My name is Gloria Nyanye, and I was the creative director in charge of video editing, social media posts, and just the whole visual creative appearance of the magazine.
My name is Ariel Keke. I was the production manager. I helped in scouting locations for the video shoots that we did, and yeah.
I'm Howard. I'm the editor-in-chief of the magazine. I helped to put together the first issue of Thrive magazine, as well as help out with setting up the Facebook page that we have.
I'm Oliver Tony Foke. I was the overall business manager, and I worked on how we were going to put our magazine out as a business.
So this is a proposal to the board of directors for Nitro Supermarket. Nitro Supermarket was founded in 2014, so it's been running for about 5 years, and is looking to increase its market share as it's marking its 5 years in the grocery business. Particularly, this magazine proposal is for the launch of Thrive magazine, and it's also part of a 5-year plan to increase the market share of Nitro Supermarket in general. So the magazine, this is just details about the layout of the magazine. So it's going to be a healthy food and lifestyle magazine. It's going to have about 24 pages in it, and it's going to be an A4 size magazine because of the target audience that we have in mind. If we're going to be targeting younger people, then we want the magazine to be something that is handy and accessible. It's going to be glossy to sort of emphasize the colorful, the color schemes that are used in the magazine. Like she said earlier, this is the print edition for the magazine, focusing on Gujarati cuisine. For the summer edition, we're focusing on Caribbean cuisine. For the autumn edition, we'll be focusing on Chinese cuisine. The winter edition will be sort of an all-encompassing spread with different recipes from different parts of the world. But the general vision for the magazine is that it just focuses on healthy living. So no matter what recipes that will be showcased in the magazine, they're all going to be healthy. The printing costs, we've estimated the printing costs, so we think that it's going to be about 12 to 50p per page. So we think that with this, we'll be able to, the magazine doesn't have a high production cost, and yeah, so we're pretty sure about that. So these are some of the contents that are going to be in the magazine. This is Gujarati edition, and it contains healthy recipe choices and even healthy lifestyle choices. For example, this is a face mask that has healthy benefits to the skin, so we just incorporated that into the magazine as well. So for the competitive analysis, Nitro Supermarket is essentially a discount brand, so it falls into the same category as Aldi and Lidl. And so if Nitro Supermarket, like I said earlier, it's a new magazine, so it doesn't have a very big market share, but we're looking to increase the market share by essentially starting off with a magazine, Thrive magazine, and this magazine essentially is going to be targeted towards a younger audience, preferably people within the ages of 18 to 25, and the reason for that is because that is a market that people do not usually patronize, or people do not usually consider when it comes to magazines. People usually go for people within the ages of 30 to about 50 who already have families, but we're targeting this group of people that aren't usually targeted in mainstream. So it's a smaller market, but however, we believe that this will be beneficial to like true supermarkets in the long run, because these people are people who are in colleges, they're in universities, and eventually they're going to become part of the working class, and eventually they're going to have households. So we have this mentality that if we develop a good good client-consumer relationship now with this group of people, in the long term, it's bound to pay off. Target readership again is 25. This decision to also target this group of people has been influenced by a variety of factors. For instance, majority of young people are unwilling to spend too much money on groceries. This is an example of what students are willing to spend their money on. And from what we've seen here, people are more likely to spend within the range of £10 to £29 on groceries. So the whole incentive behind this is that Thrive magazine is going to be a free magazine, because if we're looking at our target audience and they're unwilling to spend so much money on groceries, then there's little to no chance that they will want to spend money on buying the magazine. So that is the premise behind this. This is Access Good Living magazine, and this just points to the fact that majority of their target audience are people above the age of 35. You can see here that it starts with people above the age of 15 plus, but a very large percentage of those people are people within the ages of 35 and above. So this just emphasizes the fact that majority of magazines don't exactly target young people when they're thinking about selling their magazines. The same thing applies to Sainsbury's magazine. Majority of their target audience are people within the ages of 35 and above. And so we're just saying that since majority of these brands are looking at an older target readership, we have an opportunity to take advantage of a very it's a smaller market, but there's an opportunity to take advantage of a market that isn't usually patronized or that isn't usually considered when selling magazines. This just gives a summary of market share for grocery stores, and we can see so essentially what this graph is trying to illustrate is that brands like Aldi or brands that are considered as discount brands are beginning to have an increase in the market share, and part of the reason for that is because of the current economic climate. With current Brexit condition, many people are shifting towards cheaper alternatives and cheaper brands, and so brands like Aldi, for example, have seen about a 5% increase in their market share. So we are looking at this from the perspective that if many people are looking at brands like Aldi and Lidl, which are like discount brands, and Lightro Supermarket happens to be a discount brand as well, then we are bound to benefit from a target readership that is looking for cheaper alternatives, looking for cheaper, healthier, easier alternatives, because the relationship between our brand and our target readership is one that is very like symbiotic, because in a way we are offering them cheaper alternatives, and they are essentially looking for cheaper alternatives. So it just makes sense in that manner.
And here we have a SWOT analysis of the various features of the magazine. The strengths mainly are the fact that food magazines as a whole have tended to do very well in sales. In the UK specifically, back in 2015, it was recorded that some of the best-selling magazines were the ones that were related to food magazines, often supermarket ones, most notably ones like Tesco, Waitrose, and So More magazine all sell very well in those figures. Meanwhile, the weaknesses would be that the food magazine market from that is also one that's very oversaturated, which could potentially be a weakness on our part. But the opportunities is that we have a specific niche in terms of what we are looking at, which is the fact that we're focusing on Gujarati food, and we're also taking the opportunity of an increasing market of vegan food. And according to an article in Vegan Food Loving back in 2017, sales for vegan magazines are up by 37%, and yeah, the only threat in that sort of sense would be the fact that we have such a niche angle that we could make us very limited in terms of audience. Multimedia elements. The videos, as you've previously seen, we've edited 3 short taste test videos, and it demonstrates our magazine's healthy message, of which we have uploaded to both the magazine's Instagram and Facebook pages. The visual inside the magazine copy that, as previously shown in the presentation, and on the magazine's social media accounts, we promoted our magazine with colourful graphics, displaying the food we want to show among other cultural Gujarati images. So, in terms of social media, we share these same images on our social media outlets, as well as means of GIF images to get people more interested in the brand, especially because it's a more younger generation of who are very enticed by this sort of social media. The technique has aided other companies in the past, most notably like cigarette companies, and advertising plan to monetize Thrive through online advertising. With social media brand extension, we've created a Facebook and Instagram account whereby we've spread our messages previously established. And the reason we'll focus very much on social media marketing is because of how prominent it is in publishing magazines, among other products. With these days, social media sites including Facebook combined make up 43% of web traffic, and also other sites like Twitter, for example, which we plan on launching in the future, pushing 30% of internet traffic to other sites as recently as 2013. It will also aid us in spreading our message to young people aged 18 to 25, given that, according to the Business Insider, 99% from 2013, 99% of young people in the UK of that age bracket use social media, and as they're the main target audience, it helps us to establish a strong connection between the customers and the consumer. And meanwhile, the failure, we have to keep in mind how important this is, given the fact that the failure of other magazine and newspaper companies to successfully establish themselves online has led to closure, and we want to avoid that. Most likely with outlets like the New Day, which closed their doors back in 2016, as they failed to appreciate the online market. And also, finally, we plan on creating other accounts in the future, most likely outlets like YouTube and Twitter, for instance, and we could put those short taste videos up there as well.
So our marketing campaign is mainly focused on social media. It's very social media driven because our target audiences are a demographic of people from between ages 18 and 25. So that's the use of hashtags like Thrive Up Your Life will close it. Like if you click on the hashtag Thrive Up Your Life, you'll only see content from Thrive magazine. So that'll make it unique to its own bubble, its own style. So if you just move on to the next slide. So how we'll monetize Thrive is through discount codes, supermarket, grocery sales, and advertisements. So by collaborating with brands like Nike, Superdrug, Apple Music, Spotify, and McDonald's, we can get them in a sense to like have coupons. Like an example of the 10% one that you can see is like when you buy the magazine, in the magazine you'll get like a 10% discount code. With a brand that you're familiar with, and brands like Nike, Superdrug, Apple, and Spotify are brands that are used by students, and that, you know, for clothes, makeup, skincare, and all that, it's kind of ties into that demographic, as well as supermarket grocery sales from Lightrose. So Lightrose being a supermarket and people shopping there will bring us money as well. So that's how we make money back. And adverts. So let's say, for example, Nike pays Lightrose £5,000 per season for a full page spread advert in the magazine, will first of all direct people to their website and their stores, and we also profit from that by getting £5,000 in return for that. So, yeah. So these are examples of our social media posts that we'll be posting on Instagram. So just the catchy short phrases and like turn up, blow up, things like that. Those are phrases that people aged 18 to 25 are familiar with, and it's like no one these days likes to consume a lot of information, so you don't have to like read through like, oh, what's this about? You just see like slurp and you're like, oh, that looks good, so you go click on the link and go read the magazine. You want to get your hands on it and want to know more, so you just use like short catchy phrases, visually appealing pictures, and yeah, visual content is really important to us. Visually appealing content is really important to us. So we will have the first thing we'll have is a launch event at the Montfort Suite at Town Hall Hotel. So it has a capacity of around 120 guests, and with a venue fee of £3,000. Our guest list will mainly be social media influencers and social media food enthusiasts, because again, our target audience are like 18-year-olds and 25-year-olds. So when these social media guys are like Snapchatting and Insta storying their experience, the people will be like, oh, what's going on, what's this event? So that's how we'll get the word out there, because that age group already follows these social media influencers, people like Kezia Enyan or Rachel Ama, who are food enthusiasts on social media, really popular, and people aged in that age range are familiar with them, so you'll kind of get the buzz going, hashtag Thrive Up Your Life, and then you tag the location and people start getting interested in what's going on. Our menu will obviously be Gujarati food for this specific season, for this launch, because that's our first edition, that's the theme of our first edition of the magazine. So the whole point of the launch event is to network with potential sponsors and board members, of course, and just to introduce, the whole point of it is just to introduce Thrive to the world and make people aware of its existence.
Okay, so regarding our demographic, we thought, what is the best way to utilize the demographic and get our magazine out there? So studies show that 68% of 18 to 29-year-olds use social media app Snapchat. And since our target is around that demographic, we decided to use this to our advantage and put our magazine also on Snapchat. And as you can see here, the top 3 social media platforms for our audience are Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter. So a way in which we can use Snapchat for our magazine is through Snapchat subscriptions. It's a new feature that's been around for nearly a year now, in which magazines and other companies they can put up stories and share their content on Snapchat. So for example, here you can see the New York Times even have a Snapchat, and that's how they get their content on another app, because instead of going onto the New York Times yourself, you can go on Snapchat, scroll up, and then go into the New York Times. So it's just a quicker way to get their content out there on social media. And so, as I said before, Snapchat subscription is a way to implement our magazine to a wider audience. There's examples again of how Sky Sports, BuzzFeed, Daily Mail, Sky News, they all use Snapchat subscriptions now to promote their content. And what we'll do, each week we'll have videos like the one we saw earlier, about magazine, food and culture, and we'll post them on there, just a way to bring more traffic to the magazine, especially with our target audience. If they're a demographic that use Snapchat a lot, this will be a great way in which we can take advantage of that, and a better way to reach our target audience. And also, similar to what we're going to use to Snapchat, we thought Instagram is a good idea as well, since Instagram was, again, one of the top 3 social medias that our demographic use. So Instagram is an app based with pictures and videos, and which you can edit them and make them look as nice as you want. So this is a great example of how we can utilize pictures and social media posts we showed before, how we can make them good and get people to actually view our magazine. So as you see here, there's just examples of our Instagram page and what we put on. So we can actually put our videos on Instagram as well. So Instagram and IGTV is now a way in which we can put videos on there. So we can put our videos on Instagram, we can put them on Snapchat, we can put them anywhere. It's just more way to get people to view our content. And also, Instagram has the use of hashtags. So the hashtag we were using before, hashtag Thrive Up Your Life, if you search for that on Instagram,
Thank you very much. I'll start with one question. I didn't quite understand when you said the printing would be 50p. Oh, what was going to cost 50p a page? Was it printing? Was it preparation? Was it?
It was printing. That was we checked online on how much roughly each page would go, and it ranged.
So you were talking about 12 pages.
Printing ranges from 12p to 50p, so depending on the.
Oh, I see. But if it was 12 pages, so how many pages were you thinking? 24. So it could go up as far as the cost could go 24 times 50p. So that'd be £12 per magazine, or
Just
24
to print.
times just to print.
I could print it cheaper than that, surely, on my home machine.
You can print, but that's the maximum in a sense. Like, we're not going to use.
Because that would cost my supermarket a lot of money, and the money I gave you would be gone within a few months.
It's just an estimate, it's not definitive.
Okay.
It ranges from 12p to 50p, so it could be 13p, it could be 15. 50p was the maximum.
Okay.
I was pleased to see that you were having a go at the numbers, and it seemed like you were engaging well with some of the costs involved here. That was nice to see. It sort of did distinguish you a bit more, I thought, from some of the other groups. Some places where you were throwing numbers around where others hadn't. I liked that. It was a really interesting presentation, because I think I really, at one stage I was thinking, I really like the presentation style here, and then later on I was thinking, oh no, I'm really not liking the present. I could think of criticisms, and I wasn't sure whether it was just that actually your personalities were coming through very well during your presentation, and somehow I was feeling like this is going well, this presentation, and yet later on then I was seeing a fault which I see a lot of, which is lots of text on a slide which is being read to me at a slightly different rate, at the rate at which my brain is trying to read the text, and the net return is zero, because you're reading to me something and I'm reading it at the same time, and somehow 1 + 1 = 0 in this case, so that you go on to the next slide and I think, I haven't even made a note there. I was going to ask a question. I've completely forgotten what that one was about. But that's something that is a general fault, I would say, with a lot of presentations, where in your desire to sort of jump through academic hoops, you're putting academic content onto a slide which perhaps would belong better in the notes section of a PowerPoint, leaving just perhaps the bullet points. But that's something to think of for future presentations in the real world, if you like, beyond academia, because we're just not able to take in information in that sort of volume, delivered orally and textually at the same time. And I think when you think about it, you realise you've sat through lectures where that's gone on as well, and you've sat there thinking, oh God, I'm not taking in any of this, and you sort of have to consciously switch one bit off and the other bit on. But it was really interesting to see the mixture as well. So some of you sort of talked more generally, not quite the text, and I liked you having using the phone as the prop, that you were reading the slide, but I thought, oh well, that's use of new devices a little bit, just good to see. You identified that the aim of the parent company, which I liked, that you were saying, okay, we're making a magazine, but you were immediately thinking, what's it for? It's for the supermarket, and you gave them a name, and you were obviously consciously trying to picture what is this supermarket that we are creating the magazine for. I didn't really understand why you arrived at 24 pages, why A4 size, whether there was a reason for that being A4 instead of A5.
So the A4 size is primarily because we're thinking about target audience, and if they're going to be younger people, these people are on social media and they have their phones. We don't want to create something that is too big or too. We just want to create something that is handy.
Nothing is going to be less handy than A4 in size on the magazine shelves, surely.
Yeah.
Does anybody make a magazine bigger than A4?
They are bigger than A4. Normal print is
There are
bigger
some
than A4.
bigger than
Yeah.
It's just
Normal
the size
magazines
of
are
the
bigger than
It's
A4.
not appropriate for even just how they design. Just if you look at how it's like long, it's just
Yeah.
the size
Not
settled
as-
on.
And of course,
aesthetically
because,
pleasing.
and yeah, don't get me wrong, when I'm asking questions about your presentations, it's not that I think you're doing a terrible magazine idea, but actually it's the quality of your presentation is giving enough rich content that that it's making me think of more and more questions. So, for example, you were much more targeted in identifying a persona. You know, it's this 18 to 25-year-old single person. You're thinking not just competing with supermarkets, competing with Aldi and Lidl, and I thought, right, you're really nailing this one down to a specific. You know, we're talking low budget students here, and I thought, okay, that sort of plays to your strengths in a way, because you think, oh, I already know where these people are at because I'm close to that age group myself, and thought that was really helpful for you. I was curious about how you would bring them along with you as they got older, and whether you were seeing the supermarket itself growing and changing with the age group. So you were thinking our supermarket is aimed for these people who are looking for, you know, budget foods, easy to cook, fast kind of thing. That then as they get older, I can tell you that as you get older, you don't necessarily keep eating noodles every day for your main meal or whatever. Every country and culture has its own go-to garbage food that you eat as a student. I think in some countries it's beans on toast. In some it's pot noodles. In Australia, certainly when I was a student, it was spag bowl. You know, you could do it blind drunk, off your face on anything. Any was the only thing you could rely on a bloke in Australia to be able to make without killing you by food poisoning was spaghetti bolognese. We could do it like this. But I thought that as you get older, you know, the kind of ingredients that you're looking for and that would change. And I thought, okay, when they're getting older, that might be difficult to hold on to them as they get older because the tastes will change.
Yeah,
Have you thought of that?
The logic behind the whole concept of the magazine is that we're placing emphasis on content. So, true, if we look at the spreads of the magazine, we have different kinds. We have like different kinds of recipes that are easy to make, recipes that are a bit more detailed. We have a variation of recipes there, sort of giving it like a balance. So we think that as time goes on, as people evolve, if we keep up with the same kind of content, I think it's going to be relevant for people whether they are 18, 25, 30, 35, because we're providing healthy recipes, healthy lifestyle choices. And I think that's relevant to people, especially when they get older, maybe they have families, they're going to be keeping that in mind as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a few generations away from your target audience, so I'm really Mr. Magoo in this situation about the magazines issue.
I'm an oldie customer myself.
We can also focus on old media methods of reaching people, like TV adverts, not billboards, but posters, like just looking into old media.
You did make me think, what would make you pick up the magazine as you're going in the supermarket? Is there something about the cover that would make an 18-year-old pick it up? What makes an 18-year-old pick up any magazine in a supermarket?
Something that stands out.
Have you done that? Have you ever picked up a magazine for free in a supermarket?
The only magazine I've ever picked up was I saw the cover and it was a picture was in there. So it stood out compared to the rest.
It's got to have Beyonce on the cover.
It was football actually.
It's football. Well, I was going to say football.
So something I was interested in.
Yeah.
And it made me.
You got to find out where the vegan and vegetarian footballers are. The vegan and vegetarian.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
And quite a lot. More and more, isn't it? So you would.
Veganism.
Yeah. But I mean, not necessarily. I don't know I don't know what's going to happen. They're having riots in Australia about veganism, weren't they, the other day? So I don't know what's going to happen.
Bloody violent people. You've got to watch out for them. I tell you.
Yeah. But that's right, isn't it? Because
True.
personalities would probably have to come into it, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's a really difficult thing, just in itself. To get an 18-year-old to pick up a magazine in the supermarket, what would you put on the cover? And my knowledge in this area is, limited to, magazine covers with Lady Diana, Princess Diana. I understand that you could put her face on anything and people would pick it up or buy it, newspapers and stuff. And certain celebrities, perhaps, and that linked with the launch event where you priced up the venue was 3,000, and it related to the previous one actually, where it looked like quite a plush event they were running with 150 people, and here again I was thinking, how many do you have to invite in order to get 150 to turn up, and what kind of food are you putting on, and why would they come? And again, it seemed like an entire MA by itself to organise and think about that launch event. That would be quite a different animal. And I'd suggest perhaps if I was doing a presentation, I might just sort of wave that away with, and we're going to employ this specialist launch event company to do this side of it, because
Contact all the celebs for us.
Really challenging. Having the celebrities coming, I imagine they ask for a lot. What students spent, some of the tables, some of the information, it was whizzing past. I was impressed on the one hand with the graphs and tables, because they were graphs and tables, and on the other hand, I had absolutely no idea what some of them meant. The one with what students spend their money on, and the green and the yellow bars.
Looks nice.
I couldn't figure that one out. That one. What did the green and yellow mean?
I guess those green and yellow bars symbolize the price range that people would usually spend their money.
So it's per shop, isn't it? It looks like it's.
Yes.
In other words, it's not weekly. It's every time you go to the shop.
Yeah.
Some people are spending less than £10.
No, sorry, excuse me, it's my fault. It's stupid o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. I didn't realise the colours don't mean anything. They're just alternating colours, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sorry, that was me. Because I was looking at the bar and I thought green was significant and trying to compare it with the other ones.
So essentially, the highest percentages that just symbolize the price rate people what price rate people are willing to spend on or within. So yeah, that's what
per week or 10 to 29 pounds per week.
It's per shop, isn't it? It's per time of going to the supermarket, I would say, by looking at it.
That,
right?
Would that be per week, do you
It's
think?
different activities. What they're spending, so leisure, they're spending less.
So,
You can't live on less than £10 a week.
so people are more like
Not well, but you can, trust me.
people have done that.
You make
Yeah.
industrial amounts of spag bowl, you can eat that all week.
Yeah, if
that
you
only
have
costs about
if you have
£2.50.
smash every day, mashed potatoes and porridge.
Oh, please.
But I really thought it was interesting that you chose this particular direction and you chose this discount supermarket idea. I thought that was interesting. And it would be the kind of things, because obviously between the two of them, Aldi's and Lidl's, there's a constant competition going on anyway. And if you notice in Hatfield, there is an Aldi's. And if you go there, you'll find it's full of students all the time. And it's easy. Actually, it's easier for the students to get to than either Tesco's or Aldi, Tesco's or Asda's anyway, which is much further. If you go there, sometimes you see students coming in taxis back from Asda's with all their shopping, you know. But yeah, it's interesting that you chose all these for it.
The I think there were sort of parallels with earlier presentations where I think I've made comments about the use of multimedia, the use of the Snapchat as a main marketing tool for subscriptions, and I thought, it would have been useful for someone to actually contact them and find out whether they wanted a bite out of all this, because of course if you've got 1 million subscribers, Snapchat might see you as a bit of a revenue tool yourselves, so they might want money from that. I'm not sure what the relationship is between big business and social media platforms.
Well, that's part of the problem, is that's the discussion that goes on, because big business is getting behind the scenes data from Facebook. That's one of the things that's going to come out.
The other advantage of having an app, by the way, is of course if you've got the app on the smart television, you can even get data on what their viewing habits are and all kinds of interesting things which might inform you on where to place your television advertisements. Yeah, it's good. I liked it.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
And a difficult time in the afternoon to be presenting as well.
Yeah, well, I apologise, everyone. I really wanted to get finished by 4, and that was my target. And then we just had a bit of a half an hour of meltdown. I don't know, I'm supposed to do another presentation in there on Friday, so in that room. So I'm going to have to find another room for Friday. Video feature.
Video feature. Well, if the sound's not working, I'm not coming.
So everyone, we're going to mark all of this now, and Mimi will be involved in the marking process. Peter will be, and I will be as well. And within, I hope within a couple of weeks, because there's only really 3 groups tomorrow, so it shouldn't take us long. I think we'll make that a priority, won't we, Peter? We'll make it a priority, seeing as there are only 3 groups tomorrow. So thank you anyway. So please, if you get a chance, fill in that feedback on the online. You know, the student module feedback for that. And I apologise for the equipment, but it's kind of out of our hands a little bit. But if you want to comment on that, you know, feel free to do so. I'm not telling you not to do so.
What if you submitted sorry, I just wanted to ask
Go ahead.
about the roles log. I submitted it alongside with the presentation.
The roles log is just it's not a hugely consequential thing, but it's like for you to keep a diary of what you've done and what you've been involved in, and just write down the number of hours you've been involved in. So, and it's kind of like, I put that into it to some of our undergraduate modules as well, and it's just to see how students monitor themselves, it's also to help you as well, to kind of make you think, well, have I done enough here, you know, sometimes. So just fill that in and upload it. Simple. Yeah. Gloria, thank you very much. I apologise for calling you Grace. I didn't know why I did. There must be someone else called Grace.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
So have a nice break, and then have a nice successful
Come back if he's still here at 7.
Yes. And maybe I'll bump into you on Wednesday afternoon
I'm still here.
if you're here coming to see Sylvie for your dissertation.
I've got another year to go because I'm the only one doing
Oh, you're
part-time.
part-time. Oh, okay, good.
You're only part-time.
Yeah.
So what didn't you do this year then?
I haven't done writing for magazines.
Oh, you'll do that with Shannon.
I'll do that
Yeah.
September, and then obviously dissertations.
So you're part-time because